Hello, my protruding eye kings, queens, and everyone in betweens. I am excited to come back with a new video this week that is all about emphasizing your God-given gift. This video is so special to me because this wasn't my idea. You guys in the comments of my last few videos have been asking for an eye look you could do that's not too crazy complicated, that will allow you to emphasize your doll eyes, play up this very doe-eyed look, and I am here to deliver. Before we hop into this video, I just wanted to say that when you said emphasize, I heard drama. So I went with a very dramatic fall dark look today, and I am vibing. But I am going to be giving you tips in this video on how you can play this technique down to fit everyday styles and really just tailor it to your mood on any given day. So let's hop into this halo eye makeup tutorial. Okay, so I'm starting with eye primer. I'm using this Essence I Love Color primer. Listen, if you watched any of my previous videos on protruding eyes from like a year ago on my main channel when I first started creating them, I did not use primer. And it is still a relatively new thing to me, but I have been noticing that for my protruding eyes, I almost use primer every day now because I really find it helps like smooth over the appearance of veins and such. That was a little uneven. This side didn't have quite as much. But you don't have to use eyelid primer, and if you don't have eyelid primer, a little pro tip, something that is going to cause a similar effect, is if you take concealer all over the eyelid and then, let it dry down completely as much as it can, pat out any wrinkles or creases in the concealer, and then just powder it with a translucent powder. The only time that will not work is if you are using like cream eyeshadows or something, but if you are using powder eyeshadows on top of that translucent powder that went over the concealer, I find that that has a similar smoothing effect. It doesn't always affect the longevity of your eye look and the colors like an eye primer would, but it does kind of get that effect of just getting a bright and blank canvas going. Today, the eye look that we're going to be going for, the halo eye look, the idea of it is to almost create a protruding eye shape, except it was created for people who maybe don't have protruding eyes. The trend started a couple years ago, and the basis of it is to make it look like the apex of the eye, the part that is rounded toward you, the frontmost part of that arc, is leaping forward, and the corners, both the inner and outer corners, are receding from the onlooker. The way we do that is by putting dark shades in both the inner and outer corner and a lighter shade in the middle. Now, I've talked about this before on my channel, you can do all matte shades for this look, and I think that will look very nice on protruding eyes, but a lot of comments that kind of fed into me having this idea for a video and doing this look first, a lot of the comments I got were saying, okay Sam, thank you so much for doing like a how to balance your protruding eyes look, but now I want to know how to emphasize and play up my protruding eyes. So for this look today, I'm going to be showing you how I go about actually emphasizing this God-given gift on the days I feel like emphasizing it. So because of that, I am actually going to be using a glitter shade on the center of the lid, but first we're going to focus on doing the shadowy parts, and I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. So this is just a hack that I use, but I love going for a big fluffy brush that's tapered at the top. This is a hack because it gives you a blown out effect since it's a slightly larger brush in less time. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going into my new Aether palette. This is the Moonlight Crystal palette. If you don't know about Aether, they have all sustainable packaging, cardboard packaging. They're ethically sourced. They're an incredible, incredible brand. And the best part is, unlike some clean beauty brands, they actually have really high quality products. So I'm going into this gray matte shade up here. It's like a nice true charcoal. And I'm tapping off excess, and then I'm going to touch that to the area that I want that color in. I'm trying to go directly on to the eye, even though I'm going light. Don't do this to yourself because it will spread in places you don't want it to. I am just going in circles right here, getting that charcoal started on the outside. So once I get that nice outer edge going, I start to just kind of wipe back and forth. And I really am trying to utilize the tip of this brush. I'm not pushing too hard. And I'm just dusting a little bit of that gray shade in the inner corner. I am going to use a slightly less fluffy brush to concentrate that in a second. But I always start by getting this outside portion blended and in the shape that I want. So notice I wasn't blending down here. I was making sure that I was keeping that up near the brow bone and on the outer portion of the lid, and that creates this nice lifted effect. But then I'm going to take a slightly denser brush. I'm taking that same shade, tap off excess. And this is the part of the look that gets really scary for protruding eyes, because the second that you put anything dark in this corner where we usually already have dark shadows, things can get out of hand really fast. And even though I knew that I was going to be putting a darker shade in the inner corner today as well, I still put concealer in this area. I always do that. But now what I'm gonna do is touch like a centimeter away from the actual inner corner, so I make sure that I put the majority of the product on, and then I, in dragging motions toward the center of the eye, very lightly start to spread this color out. And you do want to not only take it like close to the lash line, but you want to take it up into the crease as well. And once the majority of the product has actually been laid down, that's when you can blend. So again, doing tiny little circles perpendicular to the face. Now that I have just mapped out where that's going to be, this is where you can darken up the area if you want to. So I feel like my inner corner looks really good. I'm taking that dense brush. Now that I have that blown out effect out here, I'm going to touch a little bit more of that gray shade. Just kind of sweep along the outside of the lash line to darken up the outside and really get that nice framed, equally dark inner and outer portion of the eye. And be warned, this look always looks scary until you add the center shade. Going back in with that fluffy brush now that I've laid down some color, and I'm just gonna use that to gently blend over what I've done here. I personally think the way that I'm showing you guys today is the easiest way to do this look, but some people I know put a dark shade all over the eye, just from the inner corner to the outer corner, and then blend the thing out how they want, and then take like a makeup wiper remover or put concealer on the center of the eye over the dark to then add in color. You can totally do that. I just feel like that's unnecessary steps for me. Really, just any time that you are doing a look that intimidates you on your eyes, go slow and do what I'm doing right this very second until you literally don't think you can do it anymore. Because a blended eye look is a beautiful eye look. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of this dark shade right in the crease, right here. Have a very nice kind of defined line, even though it's smoked out above it, between the inner dark portion and the outer dark portion. I like to have a very defined dark area almost fitting right on the eyelid here, as you can see. And then anything above that I'll smoke out. But for this kind of look, I really like going above and beyond, making it look dark. If you're gonna commit, commit. Okay, so I think that that's pretty good. I can obviously go back in and blend with this guy in a little bit, but now I think we're ready for the center of the eye shade. I'm still deciding which of these two shades I want to use on the center of the lid. This is like a nice steel gray if I wanted to do an all gray look, which I have not done in a long time. But then there's this nice like pinky lavender shimmer shade that I also think would look gorgeous, but I honestly think that the all gray would look better with my makeup or with my outfit today, so I think I'm gonna go all gray. So I am taking that on an index finger because any kind of shimmer or glitter shade often goes on better with your fingers than it does a brush. I've got my mirror here and I am placing it first as close to the lash line as possible. I'm also trying to just keep it focused on the center third of the eye. And then after I start at the lash line, I just start to pull down toward the lash line, but work my way up. And I stop right at the crease. And I don't think it's sparkly enough. Hold on. Okay, I had to go search my other eye palettes because I wanted something with a little more shimmer, but along the same shade range. And this one catches the light even more. So just going over that shade, I'm gonna try this on for size. Oh yes, that's better. I wanted something kind of dramatic. Okay, so I've built it up quite a bit and I want to shape it just a little bit more. So going back into that original kind of charcoal shade, I'm just going to add some darkness around the exterior of where I've put this center shade. Okay, so this is the base look. There's still more to be done, but one other thing I'd like to kind of mention here is that the placement of the glitter shade in the center, shimmer, whatever you want to call it, is something you can experiment with. So today I focused it more so on the actual eyelid. Some people prefer to take it up into the crease and have that light catching effect be a little more vertical. I have played with that before and I enjoy it. It almost feels unnatural to put glitter in your crease. And so if you do it, I know this sounds strange, but I literally recommend taking some of the glitter on your finger and drawing a straight line down to the lash line, and then kind of buffing and blending to the point that you like it to be at. I just wanted to mention that because that is an option too. That kind of technique sometimes makes the eye look a little more open and awake just because that strip of light appears larger. But for now, I'm going to do this on my other eye, clean up the shape just a little bit, blend and buff a little bit more, and then I will be back to show you the final step of this look. Okay friends, so I have done about the same thing on this side, and I am going to go in with just a little more concealer. I do this after every protruding eye look I do, where I've used dark eyeshadow, and I just put a tiny bit here and here, a little bit out here, and then I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and blend that concealer out. We are not done yet. I still need to do the rest of my face. Basically, I'm gonna put on brows and mascara specifically, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the lower lash line, and then I will reveal to you the finished look. See you in a few. Okay, rest of the face is on. I've put on my mascara. I didn't really go too crazy today, even though this is a dramatic look. I just kind of wanted some like butterfly fluttery lashes and then to let the look speak for itself. But final step of this look is to mimic the exact pattern that we did on top of the eye on the lower lash line. Now this is where you can decide how low you want to bring this color, how tightly you want it to hug the lash line. For my protruding eyes, I really like to hug the lash line pretty tightly. Let me show you what I mean. Taking that charcoal shade first on a slanted brush, and then I am drawing almost a straight line from where that color is up here down onto the bottom lash line. And I'm taking the time to basically kiss the lower lashes with this. And then I'm gonna do the same on the inner corner, and I'm being very careful to hug that lash line. And then once I have gotten that charcoal on the inner and outer portions of the eye, I'm gonna take that glittery shade that I used in my Juvia's Place Nubian Coral 3 palette on a pinky to that inner portion on the lower lash line. Some people prefer to put this on the actual waterline. You can do that, and I've done it before, but I am going to put mascara on my lower lashes once I'm done with this, and I feel like the lower eye will be defined enough. Let me pull out that Kosas mascara I was using and pop this on the lower lashes real fast on this eye so you can see the difference between the two and why this step with the lower lash line is so important to the look. Okay, so between these two eyes, I've completed this one. It is looking shimmery, beautiful, dramatic for sure, but I hope from like a normal distance you can kind of see the difference between the lower lash line being done on this eye versus having nothing on the lower lash line on this eye. I think a lot of people with protruding eyes avoid putting anything on the lower lash line because they're afraid that it's going to emphasize or make them look tired or make their whole face be dragged down, and I am here to show you that that in fact does not have to be true. Now that you've seen that difference, I'm going to finish up this eye and put on a lip, which is like my favorite part of any makeup look. Even when the entire video I am doing today is about eyes, I'm like, oh, but I can't put on the lip until the very, very end because that's like what puts the whole look into place for me. So I'm gonna finish this look up, take my hair down, take you back out, and we will talk about the final result. Okay guys, so is this look dramatic? Yes. Is it something you can tone down? Yes. Today I went quite dramatic because, well, one, fall, spooky vibes. I kind of wanted to go for like a Halloween-ish look, but I want to stress to you guys that the makeup technique is what I wanted to show you today, and you can do that with very nude, classic, standard, everyday tones. This is a look that I will be featuring in future videos, even if I am talking about something else. I want to make sure you guys can see what it looks like when you have a natural halo eye. But just to give you an example right now, this is a picture I found on the internet of a halo eye that I think is wearable for every day, but someone with protruding eyes could absolutely pull off on an everyday basis. I hope this look delivered for those of you who really wanted to learn at least one new technique that you can use kind of this fall season to play up your naturally gorgeous big doll eyes. I was so happy to answer this request for a video like this because I love that you guys want to have an option for days where you're proud of this unique feature you have that not everyone has, and I am more than happy to give you the tools to be able to celebrate it. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button below before you leave, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah! Love you, bye!